The question we have here is a fraction, and it's under a radical. It's the fourth root of 81 over 25x to the sixth. So immediately we can start to do some solving. We know that the fourth root of 81 is 3, because 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is 81. So already our numerator can come out of underneath the radical, and it can be 3. We are going to have a fourth root in the denominator. We can't do a whole lot with 25 with a fourth root, but we do know that 25 is 5 squared, and then of course the fourth root of x to the sixth is x with an x squared remaining up underneath the radical. Now the question has asked us to rationalize the denominator. And the way that we do that is that we always multiply whatever's under the radical sign by itself. So what we want to do here is multiply this fraction by the fourth root of 5 squared x squared. Now whatever we do to the denominator, we always have to do to the numerator. So we're also going to multiply the numerator by 5 squared x squared. Alright, so now we have a numerator that's 3 times the fourth root of 25x squared. So we can go ahead and write that. And in our denominator we have x, and then we're multiplying the fourth root of 5x squared, 5 squared x squared. Multiply that by the fourth root of 5 squared x squared. Now when we get that, we're going to leave our x out here. We can put it all under one radical at this point, which leaves us with 5 squared x squared times 5 squared x squared. This may start to make sense for you now why we split this up and just didn't continue to call it 25, why we called it 5 squared. Because if we have 5 squared times 5 squared, that actually gives us 5 to the fourth, and the fourth root of 5 to the fourth is just 5. I'll show you how that works down here. So let's go the fourth root of 5 to the fourth. Then we also have x squared times x squared here, so that gives us x to the fourth. Remember, we have our x, so I want to make sure it stays here. So the fourth root of 5 to the fourth is just going to be 5, and the fourth root of x to the fourth is going to be x. Now of course we have, this gives us just really 5x squared. We have 2 x's here, so that's an x squared. And interestingly enough, our numerator is just going to stay the same. There's not a whole lot more we can do with it. So our numerator is going to be 3 fourth root 25x squared, and our denominator is 5x squared. I'll go ahead and rewrite that here. 3 fourth root of, 3 25x squared all over 5 x squared, and that is the final answer.